Okay, you're good.
Welcome to BB Breakdown 902. We're two East Coast girls who come together every week to talk about Big Brother. We have not come to you since our last podcast, which we picked our fantasy drafts for Big Brother Canada 7. So we have a little bit of catching up to do, a little bit to talk about this episode. Forgive us because we're going to start right at the get go, kind of break down what we think of the relationships in the house, the alliances that have formed. So we're going right back to night one. We're not going to go super into detail about every single person, but just the meat and potatoes about what we think was important, anyways. That's happened in the past 2 weeks. It's been now. I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah. So thanks for joining us live. If you're joining us live, if you're joining us after the fact, thanks for that too. At the very end of the episode, we're going to talk a little bit about me meeting Bruno and Bobby this week, which is huge. So we'll chat about that a bit and what I thought of them, and that'll end our episode. And we'll talk about when we're going to come back to you next. So you ready?
Ready.
All right. So first HOH was Adam, and they announced that there's going to be no veto comp the first week, and Laura ends up getting evicted. Were you surprised at them evicting her? Like, what did you think of her after seeing her for week one?
I don't think
Since
she
you,
had. I don't think she had enough time to kind of like figure out like where the lines were drawn. Had she been there even like a little bit longer, I think she would have seen that Adam and Sam were close. I don't think she would have ever said. I don't think she was wrong in what she said. I just think she said it to the wrong person, and I think at that point they were like new friends. It was hard. She ran her mouth a little too early, and she chose the wrong person to pick on, and she chose the wrong person to like confide in.
yes, she definitely was in your face to Adam, which she even openly admitted in DR that she wasn't that close to. I don't know if I would have felt comfortable going to the HOH room and just straight out telling him who I didn't vibe with, knowing that we didn't have a prior like game relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was kind of bizarre to me. I know she was a strong player, and she probably, if she would have set herself up a little better within the house, may have stayed. But it
Mm-hmm.
was unfortunate. I was actually super looking forward to seeing her play. A lot of alliances happened that week. I guess we're going to just brief over them, see what you think about them. We'll talk about the showmance a wee bit first, I guess, with Adam and Sam and the nomance that they're trying to make themselves out to be. Do you think it's just that East Coast connection that they have going on, seeing how they were the first two um, East Coasters in the house before Corey was the intruder came in? Do you think it was just like an East Coast connection, or do you think it was more um, showmance connection? What do you think?
I like to think it's an East Coast thing because like I feel like you find the East Coast people and you can like they're good people. That being said, I do think that they're just attracted to one another. That's what
And
I
do you
think.
think it's because they're looking like ahead, and that's not just the East Coast, it's the Newfoundland thing too? Like
I
they're
think
like,
it's so like it may have been about that in the beginning, but I think they just like they seem to get on really well together. And I
mm-hmm.
think that they just enjoy one another. I can't imagine it's necessarily easy. And like these guys are just like playing and wrestling and joking around. And like, yeah, it doesn't hurt that like he's got her back, she's got his, and they're attractive. And yeah, I definitely think like there's a lot of flirting happening. And that's like kind of
Yeah.
makes it extra fun, I would assume.
Now, what do you think the Twitter backlash that they're getting is justified? Like, are you cringing when you see them on screen together, which is all the Twitter buzz? Or do you feel them because we're East Coasters and we kind of support our East Coasters? What are you thinking about the pairing?
Um, I like him. I don't love
Yeah.
her. I don't know why I don't like her. I don't necessarily have a reason why I don't like her. I find her just a bit annoying. Um, but no, I don't have like a lot of opinions about it. I mean, honestly, like go them and they're having fun. I like that they seem to have fun. Like that's what it's all about in there, right? So,
I like them both, individually, and I do like them together. I don't understand. I don't know if it's because they were like, oh, let's get close to each other and pretend to kiss and then let's walk away from it because it's too soon. Like everyone has already pegged that they have a connection, they're aligned. So why not just be out there with it? I know it is only week one, but like they've already been pegged together. I don't really understand like the build up, but anyway, maybe that gets them on or something. I don't know. So then in walks Corey, our next East Coaster. Were you gunning for Corey or did you like the other,
No,
forget her name, the other Newfoundlander that was in contention to go in the house? Who were you gunning for, Corey or the other
Corey.
Newfoundlander?
I voted for
Yeah, me too.
Corey.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
because sorry for yawning. Because I feel like the other one seemed a little too tough, and Corey seemed
Mm-hmm.
fun and approachable and kind. And honestly, of all the different times people, like whether it be Canada or US, somebody's gone in the house and disrupted it, like I don't think she was a big disruption. I think it was so early in the game that it wasn't it wasn't jarring. Like she seems to have like meshed really well. She hasn't been put on the
Yeah.
block. She doesn't seem like a target. She doesn't seem, yeah.
It was a bit of a curveball though that they threw at her to try and solidify three final two deals within 24 hours of being in the house. I was a little like, I knew she could do it because, you know, us East Coasters have East Coast charm. It's just in us to charm people and just get along and be like social or whatever. So I didn't doubt that she could do it. I just felt like if she like was pushing hard for a final two with people that she just barely met, like I don't like would it have gained suspicion in the house even more that like why is this girl trying to make a final two with me? She's not even been here for 24 hours. Like, but the people that she chose was really smart. So she chose Eddie, she chose Damien, and she
But
chose Kaylin.
if you think about it, like she went in there in a minute basically and determined and drew up like who she wanted to stay clear of and who she was going to align efforts with, or at least know that she could like. I think she underestimated. I can't ever remember her name. The mom.
Yeah,
It was harder for her to kind of tackle. I think she thought it was going to be easier and it was harder. But I really
yeah.
think like, she read people well really quickly. Like I would have probably gone for the same people, and she knew like she wasn't going to go up to Sam, and be like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah.
that's my person." Like she was able to go in, get a read, and make like big moves. I actually thought that was way more impressive than people gave her credit for.
And the other thing was, can you believe Kyra said no to her? I
No.
was kind of shocked, actually. Like, I know she's a bit of a character, Kyra, and we'll get to that. But I was shocked that, like, she just outright said, no, it's too soon to make a final two with you. Like, no, not
I
having
don't
it.
know, man.
And they were in, like, close quarters. No one was walking in on them. They were in that secret room. They could have heard if someone was coming up the hallway, one would presume. But I was just a little shocked that she didn't even give it two thoughts. Like, just was an automatic no. Like, especially considering how she really doesn't have that many allies in the game right now. And Sam, I don't think came off as being overly threatening when she came into the house. So,
No.
but yeah, kudos to her for doing a great job assimilating. And I guess kind of to that thought pool before we end our talk on Corey. Um, can you believe that she was on, considering the three people she picked for her final two, she was on the other side of the vote? Like she could have been the vote that voted Mackie to stay this week. And she was on the other side of the vote that forced Dane to make the choice. Are you surprised by that, considering who she was making her final twos with?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes on there that like we don't see. So I kind of feel like, she at this point she's made more alliances. I don't know. Not really. No.
No, I was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just given what I've seen on feeds and given like who she's been talking to, and I don't know how they got her. If anyone's watching and wants to shed some light on that, I don't know how they got her. I'd have to go back and I guess do some investigative work. But yeah, so that was interesting to me. So moving on, we'll go into this. So goodbye, Laura. We go into the second week and Dane is
Goodbye,
winning.
Laura.
Dane ends up winning HOH, gets the pictures of his dad, gets emotional, lets everybody in the house that, what happened with his dad, whatnot. And then sees this week as an opportunity to get his boy back and eliminate his showmans, which would be Sam, as a backdoor, and lets Adam in on his thought processing. Did you, because this was like the first thing I tweeted when I saw all this unfolding, that I had such just recollection of Emmett and Tom in BB Can 1, and how he was like, man, you've got to stay away from her, like she's toileting your game, like talking about Liza, and how Tom was, no, gonna hope, no, it's me and Liza, and there ended the Emmett Tom alliance. Really, did you get flashbacks of that when you were watching Dane talk to Adam in the Have Not room?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess so. I never really thought of it that way, but I do kind of think that like Dane is a little bit smarter than I gave him credit for, if I'm being honest. Like I actually really enjoy him quite a bit. And
Number pick here.
Yeah, I know. And I think he I mean, they're really right putting a big red mark on his back, and I honestly think it's so early that like, Dane's points are valid, but I feel like it's a shaky alliance that they have now. I don't think he trusts them.
Adam doesn't trust Dane now?
No, Dane doesn't trust Adam.
I think it's both ways, because Adam gunned hard for that veto and won that veto to keep his girl safe, Sam, and then and then they had that celebratory hug, which kind of marked them as targets for the rest of the house, because everybody knew that Dane wanted Sam out, and everyone was on board to get Sam out, and to the point that Sam felt it because she was being kind of like excluded during the veto comp. And now he kept the noms the same, kept his girl safe, and kind of drew a line in the sand, if you ask me, like with the pretty boys. Like, yes, that is, he still considers them and his alliance, but I think his loyalties truly lie. If he had to choose between pretty boys and Sam, the lies with Sam. Do you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So I guess kind of moving on from that. So they also mentioned that that the HOH cannot compete in veto comps this season. Do you agree with that? Do you think that they should be manipulating the basic rules of Big Brother?
I think it's a layer of like intrigue to a certain extent. It allows like them not to have all the power. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day they kind of do, because they're going to get to control who goes back up. But
Yeah.
I like the twist. I don't mind it, if I'm being honest.
I don't mind. Like, I know Big Brother Canada is twisty, and I tweeted this too, that they're all about the twist. They're all about throwing curveballs, whatnot. But when it comes to the fundamentals of Big Brother and HOH and veto, I don't think they should be messing with the fundamental rules of, like, you know,
The
the way
foundation.
it works, the foundation of this game, that is the HOH and the veto. Yes, there can be double evictions. Yes, there can be triples. We all know those exist now. And that doesn't really, like, it does matter, but it doesn't matter because there's still, ultimately people going home. That has to happen. But when it comes to like board game rules, like, are you gonna change Monopoly rules, like the go to jail rules or the cannot pass go rules? Like, are you gonna throw out, you cannot pass go, do not collect your $200? Like, this is a fun, like, this game has been going on for how many seasons? And they're changing the fundamentals of it. And I don't mind the twist. I really don't. I actually think that's what makes us unique. And I think that's what makes our season on edge sometimes, because we get involved in the game a lot more than US, in terms of like viewers having a say in the game a little more. And I love that. But I don't want them to mess with the fundamentals of the game, and I feel strongly about that. I know there's been 50-50 on Twitter. Some people like that they're throwing that curveball, and other people don't. But I'm kind of on the side of, I don't like it. But
Love it. Love it.
okay, moving on from that. Oh, okay. So my favorite alliance, and I just love them. I love them as people. I'm so pumped that they're on my team. The alliance of young blood of Esty and Kira. I love them. Are you feeling them as much
I
as
don't know who the oh yeah, that
oh,
girl and that girl. I gotta say I don't really know the alliances yet. They spent so much time on Sam and Adam and like the pretty boys, and after that I don't know any. So
I only know them because I'm on feeds like
yeah, I
a
don't think
lot.
they've done necessarily a great job of like showcasing other people. I mean, definitely, I'm assuming we're going to talk about the next eviction soon. Like, there is a divide in the house, so you can see like where things are aligning. But yeah, no, I kind of feel like I just know the two alliances, and that's it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the divide. So the divide in the house is basically the cool kids is what they're making out to see in the Pretty Boy Alliance, and then the other side of the house, like kind of the outsiders, is how they're making them feel. And they really thought that they had this vote. They thought that they were controlling the house. They were going to get out who they wanted to get out, which originally was Kyra because they deemed her as being super emotional and not controllable and too much of a wild card. So they wanted her out. And Mackie, they seemed as cool, calm, and collected, the perfect pawn. And then they ended up flipping on Mackie because Mackie told Dane to his face that Dane asked him, "Would you put me up next week if you won HOH?" And he's like, "Well, all is fair because you put me up, so all's fair." Possibly. That's what he told him. And Dane didn't like that. Dane didn't like the feeling that, like Mackie wasn't going to keep him as safe as he once thought. And so there started the getting Mackie out. And they thought they had it in the bag to the point that Dane didn't think he'd be a tiebreaker and told Mackie that he swore on his dad that he wasn't going home, but he wanted him to go home. So why would he swear on his dad if there's that possibility that there could be a tiebreaker? Was he that sure of the house and controlling everybody? Because he thought he had Esty, because Esty and him have a little bit of a not relationship, but connection going on. So he thought he had Esty, and in having Esty, he thought he had Kira. So was he like, did he think that highly of himself and what he wanted, that he thought Mackie was going home, that he could just swear on his dad? Like, why would you do that? Why would you tempt
I don't
fate?
know why he'd swear on his dad. That's crazy to me. I think
I
that
would never
really
do
he thought
that.
like he and Mackie were kind of like hitting it off, and then when Mackie was honest with him, he didn't like the answer, and then like the vow that he made or the like whatever like basically kind of went out the window. And I think the way somebody would justify that is saying like, well, my dad would want me to play this game with like my heart and not just in my head, not just my heart. And so if that's how it is, then I have to draw a line. Like that's what I kind of think happened.
Yeah, me too. But in the same regard, I don't think I would be swearing on my dad, given I can kind of talk from this standpoint because my dad also has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not swear on him. I would not swear on my kids unless 100% I was keeping that person safe. 100%, like without doubt. Um,
Yeah.
even if I had like, and I know it's just a game and you have to like do what you do to get to the end and win. But if I had sworn on my dad or sworn on my kids, I know in my heart of hearts that even if I really wanted Mackie out and saw him as a potential threat to come after me the next week because I put him up, I would still, if it came down to a tiebreaker, even though it was going against my alliance,
Yeah.
I would have kept my word. I mean, that was a big, bold statement he made and a big, bold promise he made. And I think his word, as much as he thinks it's still worth something, I think a lot of people in the house now are doubting his word and doubting how
Interesting.
trustworthy he is. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll just, Mackie ends up going split vote. The house is divided, clear line in the sand now. And then Big Brother, being the deceptive people they are, does the HOH where you have to pick who you want to go up against who to get one of the other persons out in the HOH comp, like the elimination HOH, which was so well played on Big Brother's part, knowing that this was a 50-50 vote and knowing that the house was so divided from DRs, right? And so Chelsea ends up winning it. And Chelsea ends up kind of following the cool kids' direction, even though her strongest ally in the house is Kyra, and ends up wanting to distance herself from her strongest ally and her friend to kind of make other relationships. So this is, to me, honestly, like, and I was thinking Chelsea was strongest ally. Yeah, she's on my team. I was thinking she was going to be this like bold, powerful female, but now after doing that, I felt like she's one of those. How I felt is how in high school, when you have like the girl that's trying desperately to fit in with the cool kids and will, you know, push her friend, push her whatever to the side to, you know, gain momentum with the cool kids rather than stick with the people who truly have her back and truly like have her back interests at heart. Do you agree with this? I felt so sad for Kyra because Kyra doesn't have like hardly anyone in the house, and especially now that the house is divided, she's really only ally she has is Chelsea, and Chelsea's like, back up. I want to kind of provide some distance for us so that we don't see.
And I think it was interesting because she was like, why can't we be friends in public? That's weird, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's kind of a bummer.
I'm so sad about it. Like, why doesn't she just pull Kyra in, use that? If she really wants to get in with the cool kids, say, listen, guys, this is what I got. I'm not one person, I'm two people, because my ally, my best friend in the house, Kyra, will vote the way I want. So we will get all the targets you want the other side of the house out. And when it comes down to it, then we can figure out when it's just like, you know, the pretty boys and Sam and me and Kyra, when it comes down to that side, we'll duke it out. Like, why doesn't she kind of work that angle instead of work the angle? No, your emotion, they see you as emotional and they see you as volatile. That's why they put you up last week. So I'd rather distance myself with you so that I get in with them. Like, to me, that's just so shady. Like, and I feel so bad for Kyra, who already is feeling emotionally drained from this house after only being in there for a week. I just feel terrible for them. You know, like.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Anyhow, so that's that.
My battery is dying, and I don't want to kill it. Keep going. I'm good.
Okay, good. So then, I guess that kind of wraps up all my notes. I had like 2 pages of like notes on what I want to go over. Is there anything that you want to talk about that happened?
I just wanted to talk about my one favorite part of it so far is where Mackie put the curse on them or whatever he put on. I don't know what was the word he used.
Plague on the house.
I was like, that's not how you use the word plague. It was a weird way of saying it. It's like basically I curse you all. I loved it. Loved it. Are you there?
I'm just as you plug your cord in, I'm just tweeting out that we're talking BB Can 7, and we are about.
If you're still saying I'm just getting battery and you're tweeting, so this is the most exciting live chat we've ever had. Like, oh, we're doing other things. Thanks for joining us.
I know, it's awful. I'm just tweeting out that we're gonna talk about me meeting the highlight. Well, not the highlight, but really my husband. Okay, so yesterday, me and my husband had a date night at the game, at the Toronto Ottawa game, and they're huge rivals in Canada. I don't know if anyone's watching as hockey fans or not, but they're huge rivals, and they were playing in Ottawa, and I was in my little Sens jersey because I'm a Sens fan, and I was literally in that stadium of over 30,000 people, one in probably 30 people there cheering for Ottawa, which was the home team. The rest of the stadium, I want to say 95% of the people there had Leafs jerseys on and were cheering for the Leafs, Toronto. And I was not over the moon, but I was just like, what is going on? How is this happening? Anyways, so it was intermission. I was going to quickly pee and grab a beer, and don't I go into the bathroom and I spot Bobby. And so I'm like, my goodness, Bobby's out there. But I had been waiting in line, and I spotted him just as I was like when you're in a line waiting to get in, like into the bathroom, and like you're just waiting in line, and then you get up to the point that you're going into the door part of the bathroom, and you've been waiting for like, it's a hockey game of like, as I just said, 30,000 people there. And I'd been waiting in line for like 10 minutes, long enough that I was invested to pee, and I had enough beers in me that I needed to go. So anyways, I'm waiting in line, and as I'm going into the bathroom, I freaking see Bobby, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Bobby. And I'm in like that curve in the road where I'm like, do I go in and go pee in like a minute, or do I freaking go over and talk to Bobby and freaking be a super fan? And I was like, no, I'm going in the bathroom. I might see Maddie. I think Maddie's in there. I'm going to find her while I'm waiting here. She'll probably come out of one of the stalls, and then I'll get to meet them both. And I'm like, he's probably over there waiting for Maddie. He's got to be waiting for Maddie because Maddie lives in Ottawa. So I was like super pumped because I was a huge Maddie fan on her season last season. And so I'm losing my breath here because I'm so excited. So then I like pee, I do my thing. I don't see Maddie. I'm like, okay, well, I'm praying that they're still out there. I'm praying Bobby and Maddie are still hanging out there waiting for the next period to start. I go out, and isn't he still there? And freaking Bruno is with him. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm kind of like freaking out a little bit, but I'm like, no, I'm going to go talk to them. And so I do. And sure enough, who are they there with? They're there with Rosie's son. I'm like, holy shit. This is like, I'm starstruck. That's what I told them. I'm like, I'm literally starstruck. And they were so nice. Both of them were so nice. And they made me feel like I wasn't completely crazy, which I totally felt in the moment. And I loved Bobby on his season. And I mean, I wasn't the biggest Bruno fan, but I totally respected his game.
Oh, he was one of my favorites.
In both seasons he played, I respected his game, but I wasn't like hardcore rooting for Bruno. And what surprised me the most about meeting both of them is how much, like, I don't know, I'm pretty good at reading people because I'm a nurse. So like, I just read people almost instantaneously because I was trained to do that. I was a merge nurse for like almost 10 years. So I triaged people. I can read you really quickly, get you into where you need to go. And I was with them maybe like 5-7 minutes maybe. And I'm telling you, Bruno was so freaking charismatic. I loved him. I could have totally seen how everyone in the house trusted him in both seasons to an extent. Like, he was just so nice and just so charismatic. It was awesome. It was one of those moments that I was like, oh my goodness. And then today I tweeted out the picture because didn't I ask them for a picture? And I got it with, and Rosie's son offered to take it. I'm like, no way. I'm like, of course you're going to be in the picture. There's no way you're not going to be in this picture. So I got some stranger to take it. And didn't they both like comment back that it was nice to meet me? And I was just so like tonight reading it and just talking about it now, like they're just such nice people. I was super hoping to see Maddie, but apparently she was having a girls' night. And I mean, whatever, but I would have loved to have met her too. Like, that would have I would have been over the moon. And didn't I call Lindsay or text her? And then she called me when the Sens were scoring. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to call you back. Like, and anyways, it was awesome.
I was so intoxicated last night and was like, all I saw was Bobby in the shot. I didn't see anybody. I didn't even see you in the shot. That's how intoxicated I was. I didn't even take it all in. All I saw was Bobby. And I was like, holy shit. She met a Big Brother person. I knew there were other people, but I didn't even I couldn't fathom. Oh God. Anyway, it was St. Patrick's Day. What can I say? And so then I'm like walking home in heels that are this big for almost like half an hour, being like freaking out that you met them. It was a big day for both of us. I wasn't even there.
It was awesome. And my husband
was one of my favorite people. Remember? I loved him.
I know you loved Bruno.
I loved Bruno.
Yeah. So
makes me happy that he's so nice.
Oh my goodness. Like, it wasn't just that he was nice, it's just that he was just so like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's like when you have an instant like relatableness with someone and you just know that they're good people. Like, he was just one of those good people. So it was pretty cool. I couldn't wait to share it with you because I was there with my husband, and my husband's not a Big Brother fan. So he was like excited for me, but did not even really understand the magnitude of what was happening in this super fan's life. And so, yeah, it was awesome. And tonight after the podcast, we're going to figure out our next dates. Lindsay is taking a trip to Nashville, so we're going to configure with her vacation. And then we're going to maybe possibly have Bruno on our podcast, which would be pretty exciting. So we're in talks.
I like that we call it a podcast, but I don't even know. It's like more of like a video thing. I wonder
but I mean, it's like a video podcast kind of.
Maybe,
I mean,
but I'm just wondering if like he thinks he's going to be on a podcast. We're like, oh no, you're on video.
Oh, well, I will PM him after we figure out a date and tell him the specifics of it and the magnitude of it, because I mean, really, we just get on and we don't shoot the shit. It is kind of somewhat organized, but it is all in good, super fun fan. So
for sure.
Fun. Yeah, so we just we love Big Brother, and that was a huge moment, and we want to share it with everybody that listens every week, because really, like, I'm sure that if you guys met them too, you'd be going crazy like I was last night. Like, my team was winning when I was literally 1 in 30 people there cheering for them. It was ridiculous. And on top of that, I met Big Brother people. It was awesome. It was an awesome night.
Aww.
Anyway.
That's
all right. Well, that kind of wraps up our St. Paddy's Day podcast, eh?
There you go. We did it. And we're sober.
And we are. Well, I'm a little wee
bit.
Oh,
you're drinking. Oh, okay. You know. I did that last night, and then I told this waitress that I was going on a date today, which I did, and she said, if it doesn't go well, come back and I'll give you a shot. And I almost went back just to be like, for the shot.
That's hilarious. All right, well, that ends our podcast. We'll get back to you guys on Twitter when we're back next. Thanks for tuning in live, and thanks for tuning in after the fact. We'll see you next time.
Bye.